Hey folks, it's MSP Mountain, and I want to tell you why looking at resumes is a really bad way to determine who the best staff are for your MSP. Now, I know what you're thinking. When you post job board ads and stuff like that, everybody wants to send you their resume, or as they call them in Europe, CVs. Basically, this will not help you identify who the best people are looking through them. And by judging people and disqualifying them only based on this, you might be missing out on some of the best staff for your MSP. So this is something that I see a lot. Companies discriminating, and I'm not talking about anything illegal or immoral. It's discriminating on who they want to interview based on stuff that's on the resume. And they're saying like, oh, this person doesn't have this experience with VMware and this person has this, and therefore I want to interview this one, and this one won't, he's not good for our company. So this is a horrible way to staff for MSPs, because MSPs, like, the people who thrive in those environments aren't necessarily the people who are most experienced in the technologies, that the specific technologies you've deployed. So let me give you an example. We hired a guy who was an IT chief in the US Navy for 12 years. He was with the US Navy and civilian contracting organizations that worked with the Navy, and he was an IT chief running Windows networks for them. Sounds good, right? Sounds like this person would have every single skill that you need to run your MSP. But what we found out when we put him on a help desk is that he could not even do basic troubleshooting. He could not even do a level 1 help desk position for an MSP. Why? Obviously, despite his experience sounding really impressive with all the networking and stuff like that, the Navy and an MSP were vastly different environments. And basically, he wasn't the sort of person who would thrive in an environment that's as unpredictable as an MSP. Right. So we also hired a guy who had previously been an event manager, where he had to coordinate stuff like catering, like lights, sound, cameras, whatever, events like live events. It's lots of work to coordinate. We started him as a dispatcher. Within 1 or 2 years, he became a level 2 tech at an MSP. Why? Because he was a go-getter. He was good at learning new things. He had the right agility of knowledge and knowledge transfer to be able to jump into a situation, research it on Google, and provide results to the clients. This is the name of the game. So you can look at people who are qualified in any technology that you want. You can say, I want a person with VMware, CCNA, MCSE, and all this stuff, and get a bunch of people who are exactly that. But if you hire them based on that, you might be disappointed when you see the job they actually do, because nowhere on a resume does it show you how good someone is at providing great results to clients with the technology that they're encountering for the first time. Nowhere on a resume does it show how intelligent a person is when using Google to find solutions for problems, how intuitive they are to find their way around new versions and find, the sort of where the stuff was in the old version, how software is constantly evolving and updating themselves really quickly to achieve the same level of functionality when a new version rolls out. And that's not on the CV. All you have on a resume is what they think they are and they think they've done, and some certifications that they might have taken. And basically, that doesn't really tell you much about the real MSP reality of how they're going to fit into an MSP environment. So resumes are the worst way. What is the best way? Well, put them on your help desk with one of your staff, have them sign an NDA, whatever. Put them on the help desk with one of your staff so that they can shadow for a day. Look at the actual work, see what they're in for, and you can see what input they give. And, you could run that if it's a junior level resource who, it's their first MSP gig. You can run that actually for a week to see how they do, to see where they come from day one, first touch of the ticketing system and RMM and doc platform, to day 5. How are they doing? How are they able to actually solve problems on day 5? How far did they come in those 5 days? Also, you can give people VM tests with various knowledge situations. We also have a situational interview at Support Adventure, my company, which tests technicians on, a CEO calls up, can't print, has a meeting in 2 minutes. What do you do? Obviously, the right answer would be give them as quick a workaround as possible, get someone else next to them to print and pass it to them, and then book a call later to actually solve the issue that they can't print from their computer. That sort of awareness is what makes your clients happy. And what I often hear from people who go to these staffing solutions that are credential heavy, that are certification heavy, is an analogy like these people. We hired them and they're very good at doing things that they've been trained specifically in, but they don't get the big picture. They don't think out of the box. So the example that one client gave me was these people that they hired from an outsourcing destination in some other country, one of the classic big outsourcing destinations. They said, okay, if I ask this person to get me a beer, they would go, yes, sir, I'm going to go and get you a beer. They would bring you the beer and go, yes, sir, it's my pleasure to bring you the beer, and be very nice about it and follow the instructions. But then you would go back in the kitchen a couple hours later and you'd find the fridge wide open. And you would ask them, what's this all about? Why did you leave the fridge open? And they would say, well, you didn't tell me to close the fridge. You told me to get you a beer, I got you a beer, but you didn't tell me that the fridge needed to be closed. And so that level of awareness, that level of actual knowing what to do, as some call it common sense. Well, it's not going to be universal among all people. You need to find a way to test for people who see the big picture, think out of the box, and think about the needs that are beyond the task at hand. And a resume with all their experience, might not even if they have 5 years MSP experience, you don't even know what that MSP was like, what their documentation culture was like, and any of that sort of stuff. The proof is in the pudding, folks. And you need to interview people and test them and trial them and see what they can actually do, not what they think they are that they've written on a piece of paper. So thanks a lot. This is MSP Mountain. I'll catch you guys later.